You recording?
Yeah. I'm not about to heat on them.
Coming from a galaxy near you, this is Brothers in Booze. And here are your hosts, Greg Washington and Doug Ziegler.
That was great.
That was great. The slap at the end was great. The slap was like, I don't know if you saw it. He's like, get off my keyboard. That was great. Welcome to Brothers and Booze. I'm welcoming myself back. Welcome Doug back from last week.
Yeah.
How are you? How was last week?
Well, last week went great. So we have Renee and wish I guess name just freaking escaped me at the moment, but we
Jordan,
the documentarian. It was fun. I didn't do as good a job as you as producing, but I got through it. So
I missed all that. Maybe it was good I did.
Maybe it was better you did, yeah.
Right. This is actually, we'll see how good this is. This is a beer that my neighbors gave me because I'm so nice to them beer wise. They felt obligated to get me this from Mancino Brewing in Minnesota. Minnesota. Look at this Super Serum.
Wow.
Session IPA. So they said they got it from the brewery, so I'm gonna trust the date on this one. Because if you get it from the brewery, they best not be selling old IPAs. That's just not. I mean, it's not cool for the freaking beer stores to do it, but for the brewery to do it, I'd be very upset. This is light, crisp, your kind of IPA, not offensive, slammable. As it's supposed to be session 4.5, 30 IBUs, smooth citrus. I like it. Nice. Perfect for the year. What's going on with you?
Well, being that I have to get up super early tomorrow, I'm going to start with an NA. So I'm going to start with the Mango Turmeric IPA from Athletic Brewing. So this is one of their kind of offshoots that they do.
And happy Mother's Day to all the mothers.
Yes.
Y'all all deserve a weekend, not just a day, a weekend. So hopefully y'all are getting out tomorrow. I don't know what the weather's going to be like, but I hope y'all have a great time. Happy Mother's
Day. Yeah. All right. So there you go. Looks the part. I've had this before. It's delicious. It's the turmeric's not really present very much, but I think it's there. It gives it a little bit of a twinge. But it's a good, solid IPA replica as an NA. So cheers, folks.
Cool. And I got here's a tease for my next one. I'm going to be using this glass.
Oh, the fancy glass. Ooh.
Yeah, so it's going to be a fancy beer. But before we get to our guest, Doug, last week I was in Milwaukee, and that was fun. I visited 10 breweries. 9 were pretty good. 1 was garbage.
Oh, well, that's a pretty good ratio.
Yeah, it was. And it was a great time. Venture was one of them. Lion's Tail, Lakefront. I mean, we hit all the ones that are, prominent ones for the most part. Missed a few, but got to hang out with the Beer Baron. That was fun. Got to hang out with a couple of my friends. It was just a really good time. And yeah, but the one brewery though, I've debated whether I want to trash them or not. Now, I don't even know if the word is trash, because if you're just reporting that their Doppelbock tastes like hot movie butter popcorn, I mean, it is what it is. I don't even know if it's trashing. What made it worse, though, is when we walk into this place, Doug, with like 5 or 6 people, and I was in a pretty much a heated conversation with one of the people that we were with. It wasn't an argument. it's a heated conversation. We're going back and forth, and we were having a conversation. All our friends go up to the bar, got beers. Little bit like out of nowhere, this short little man, who, in my opinion, had Napoleon complex, comes from behind the bar and was like, "Are y'all buying a beer or what?" Like, and this is like seriously, like within like 5 minutes of us walking in. Are y'all here to buy beer or whatever he said? I'm like, okay, so we got his beer, and his beer sucked, and he sucked, and the whole place sucks. So yeah, it was something else. Actually, y'all might have seen this guy because he was featured on featured on Doug a town hall with Joe Biden. He was one of the people that were asking Joe Biden a question. He had it on his wall at his brewery. So we quickly looked it up and found out what he was all about. And I don't know, we couldn't really tell whether he was Democrat or Republican. He was really talking about how one of the things that Joe did, I think, or maybe it was even Trump. One of the things that the government did was help small businesses.
Mm-hmm.
He was there to, I think, thank Joe for that or something like that. But the guy is a jackass, and I don't know. It was just weird. Again, out of 10 breweries we went to, 9 were gems, and 1 was a turd. So I just wanted to give that update. I have a problem with this though, Doug. Is like I believe that one of my places in this beer world is to shine the positive on things, especially on the brewery specifically when it is. Of course, when there's sexism, racism, and all that bad shit, we're not going to be shining. I'm going to shine light on that in a bad way, of course.
Yep,
but
as we should.
Right. But I kind of want to show the good in what I see in this industry, so that people can see the good, and we can all, grow. I believe that all these are small businesses for the most part. I mean, again, we're getting in the weeds, so I just want to be positive. So this is why I haven't trashed Black Husky on any social media. That was the brewery. Y'all are welcome to go there, buy their beer, do whatever you want. I just had a really bad experience with the beer and the owner, and I just will probably never go back there again. But right up the street, there's a great place called Company Brewing, and y'all will enjoy that. And if you go a little bit further, you can get to Hacienda. It's another great place. So yes, Hacienda was good. It was fun. We kind of had a little service issue there, but I was not involved in that. But I don't know, man. It was a full weekend. It was great. It was fun. I need to do that more. And I just wanted to shout out all the good. Shout out to Venture and Simon. Saw him. Lion's Tail. I mean, Lakefront was great. All the great breweries we went to. Amorphic was great. We missed Gathering Place. Anywho, y'all, Milwaukee is a great city for beer. Accidental. No,
I think he's not talking about your thing. I think he's talking about this is an actual thing he heard about. So
no. But like, right, butter beer, right? This isn't Harry Potter, damn it. Your beer should not taste like butter, and a Doppelbock is definitely one that should not be super buttery. And I mean like movie butter popcorn. And I like movie butter popcorn, Doug, and we can't really have that shit, so that's another reason why.
Also, popcorn sucks because it sticks to your teeth, but that's a hot take.
Again, I'm not trying to argue with a Cicerone, but in small amounts,
Cicerone
in small amounts, in some styles, yes, it's a feature. But overall, this was a feature for me to put that beer down and never go there again. Was the feature for that. That was horrifyingly bad. It was bad. So yeah, that's where we're at with that. But overall, Milwaukee was a great time. And Doppelbock is one that I love to see on the menus because I think it's not an easy one to do.
No.
And it's not one you see often. So when I see a Doppelbock, I'm like, yes, it's actually not one of my favorite styles. In fact, it'd probably be lower end, even though it's malty and it's a lager. It's just not my thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I still get them though, because I rarely see them, and I want to, I know what a well done one tastes like. That was not it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm starting to not like this drink.
That's
wow.
because I made fun of popcorn. JHG is a big popcorn fan, so.
Oh, what's wrong with popcorn?
I told you I don't like that it sticks to my teeth, like the kernels all stick to my teeth, and that bothers me.
You're being a baby about it.
Yeah, I agreed. I'm not disagreeing.
Right. So JHG, you shouldn't care. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
He says the same thing about pistachios, JHG, and they're fabulous. But I do agree with him as someone who had stuff done in my teeth recently. I mean, that does really get annoying, especially when you have stuff done with your teeth. And yeah. Doug, you don't do the whole hulless popcorn?
The what? A holeless? No, I have not had that.
Okay. I don't know. It might be a thing for you. I'm not sure, but like it's kind of bullshit though, because the hulless popcorn still has hulls. So I don't know. All right.
Whatever. Fine.
Whatever. Right.
Yeah.
So JC agrees with pistachios. They are good, and they are good heart health wise too. That's what I love about them. I literally saw my numbers go down, Doug. The good numbers, because I started eating pistachios on a normal basis.
Hey, good on you, man.
Yeah. And Google told me that too. So Google can be good for some things, John. Don't just So with that being said, Doug, you're going to introduce our fun guest tonight.
Yeah. So we were fortunate enough to have Wendi Aarons come on with us. This is, like I said, third time's a charm. It's just like when we first initially booked her, we had my vacation snafu in Maine where we thought we were booked for an extra day and we weren't.
Right.
Wendi was traveling and had to make it
we booked her second time. Right. And then Wendi couldn't make it. Right.
Yeah. So now I'm happy.
We are all here.
Yeah. So Wendi's a writer, super funny human, really a big advocate for women's rights advocate, and especially that she lives in Texas, and I think we should talk about that at some point if we can, if she's down for it. But I'm going to tell you, great follow on Twitter, on any social media, just really witty, smart. Yeah, all the things you want to read. So
she's down for it on her Twitter, apparently, you were telling me.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay, well then she should be down for it here, damn it.
Yeah, hopefully.
Okay,
right.
Cool.
Yeah. All right, man. So you got the line. What's the intro line?
What is it? I don't know.
Without further ado,
we have Wendi Aarons.
Hi.
Hey, Wendi. Welcome. What? So let's start off with, what are you drinking? What do you have?
It is Dripping Springs vodka, which is an Austin vodka, and Fever Tree something tonic, I guess, and some lime.
Oh, look at you blending all of it together.
Austin,
you're way more advanced than us.
Yeah, no, where I live in Austin, we have a lot of distilleries. I don't know if that's happening in your part of the country. But Tito's kind of started us off here, and now we have a lot. Deep Eddy, Dripping Springs vodka, just a lot. Yeah,
Wendi. I'm sorry, Doug.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say the distillery. Doug and I are big craft beer people, and the craft distillery industry is coming up just as much. So we love to hear that you're at the local distillery. We love that.
Yeah.
I had heard of, obviously I've heard of Tito's and I've heard of Deep Eddy, but I'd never heard of what was it you were having again?
This is Dripping Springs vodka.
Yeah, Dripping Springs. So
Dripping Springs, it's a little town outside of Austin. But I have to tell you all, over 20 years ago, I was working at an Austin ad agency as a copywriter. And one day an ad account guy came in and said, "Do you want to come on a new business pitch with us?" And I said, "Well, I don't know. Who is it?" And he said, just some Texan guy named Tito who's making vodka in his backyard. I'm like, "Oh, why would I waste my time?" Anyway. And now we know. Don't trust me.
Yeah, you could have had like a lifetime supply of Tito.
I know.
Ooh, what's up?
Right.
I know.
I didn't know that Tito's was a small place. I thought it was like a big corporation.
I doubt it's not small now, I would think.
Yeah, but the guy, I mean, Tito literally started it in his yard in East Austin, and he was
I didn't know that.
Some kind of scientist. I'm not quite sure what kind, but he was just sort of doing it as a hobby. And then, people loved it. So.
Nice.
Wow.
Nice.
I didn't know that at all, Doug.
Mhm.
Wow.
No, me either.
That's cool. I thought
See?
Tito was just some, big corporation made up.
No,
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I know.
right.
Okay. See, I have alcohol content for Brothers and Booze. I came prepared.
Yes, you did.
Yes,
Yep.
And you're giving us a different perspective, because a lot of times we just have beer people on and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Many times, but we're branching out.
Yeah, we
You're branching
we always say drink what you like, so it's cool.
Yeah.
We
So,
won't shame you for beer here. We'll shame you for what you like to eat, though, Wendy.
Oh, okay.
Be warned. Yes, we will
Okay.
food shame you, and we don't care.
I just enjoyed some delicious movie theater popcorn today. So.
Oh, okay. Well, good. As long as it wasn't in your beer, we're good. We're good.
Nope.
Doug, you can start this off, buddy.
Sure. So I want to talk a bit about, you first came into my radar a while back with just some of my friends were following you, especially the dad blogger crowd was familiar with you, and the mom blogger crowd, which I kind of started following people there. And then I read some of your McSweeney stuff, and which is just superb.
Thank you.
But I wanted to talk a bit about your most recent book, which is something called We're Wearing Tunics Now.
I'm wearing tunics now. Yeah.
I'm wearing tunics now. So can you discuss that a bit? Greg, that's over in a private chat if you want to have a link for it.
Yeah, that's there's still time to order it for Mother's Day if you do Amazon Prime. But it's called I'm Growing Older, Better, and a Hell of a Lot Louder. And I just wanted to put out my satiric pieces about just getting older and, some of the more feminist stuff I write. And my book agent said, well, why don't you write more essays about just who you are and what your life has been? So it starts kind of when I'm 30, going through the brand new mom days, the lonely stay-at-home mom days, and kind of segues into where I found my political voice, which is you either do or you don't in Texas. And I went to Wendy Davis's filibuster in 2013 for reproductive rights. And that sort of lit a fire under me and kind of progressed to kind of coincided with getting older and not caring what people think and being more outspoken. So that's pretty much what the book is, but it's humorous. It's meant to be funny. And a lot of my New Yorker and McSweeney's pieces are in there. I wrote a piece called 50 Candles. That's a parody of 16 Candles, because I realized that the main character turned 50 the same year I did. So that's in the book. Ferris Bueller's Laid Off. That's in the book. Ferris Bueller at age 50. So it's gotten a good reception, and people are relating to various parts of it, whether it's the lonely stay-at-home mom or the feeling invisible once you get to a certain age, what have you. So I've been very happy with how it's been received. And I can't really talk about it much, but it's been optioned for Hollywood. So I'm really excited about that. Yeah.
That's fantastic news.
That will be announced once the strike is done and everything gets back on track. So
yeah, hopefully that strike is over soon. Because
no kidding. It's and that's what I hear from people I know is that the studios are balking at the idea of not using AI for writing, which is nothing a writer wants to hear, but yeah. Well, that brought the room down.
Yeah, no, that's okay. That's okay. I think it's important that we hear voices like yours, like you talking about feeling invisible as a woman gets to a certain age.
Yeah.
Like I talk to my wife about this stuff all the time, just like the idea of like, there's this sort of youth chasing we do for women. I mean, we do it a bit for men, but we do it way more for women. And it's important to have women of all ages be able to be represented, and having you. I think part of it is that bit you talked about was just kind of not giving a shit anymore. Like I'm old enough and I don't care. So well, you care, but you know what I mean. It's not
you care, but I think women get louder as they get older. Some men do, but men, at least in my experience, they were kind of leaders or louder when they were younger, and once they get older, kind of like they aren't as much anymore when you have the women that are marching and protesting, and we have more. We all have the same thing at stake, I would say, but the women, for whatever reason, that's sort of more of a camaraderie or sisterhood, or we join forces more than the men do. And not that men don't support it, but it's the women that are out there, really making a difference. So I think we're getting to the point where we need all hands on deck. But yeah, you do what you can at whatever point in life you're at.
Women, in my opinion, just organize better. I think
Yeah,
you see
yeah.
that. I think you see that in the mom verse. I think that there's a little bit. I think there's toxic masculinity working against men, as far as when men try to get together in any kind of way. We're always kind of like no homo, and this kind of like you know what I mean? Like, men struggle with having friends more than women do, the science says. So there's a whole lot of that going on that really stops men from organizing as effective as women do, in my personal opinion. I
No,
mean,
I
we all
agree.
have gender infighting for sure. Because a lot of people like to say women hate women as much as anybody hates women. You hear all that crap, but I mean, it's just the same. It's really more about proximity for me, in my opinion. Whether it's race, gender, creed, any of that infighting. You know what I mean? You're going to infight with people who you're close to, or
Yeah.
the closest. So it's always you're a woman and you have women friends. There's going to be some clashes there, and that's I guess that's overall. I don't know if it's fine or not, but that's just my commentary on that. But leading to a question, Wendi. So everybody talks about. So Lauren Yee here says, I'm a handful of years behind JC and Wendi, but I also care less about what people think. When you said that, I'm caring less about what people think and all that, what does that look like for you specifically as a middle-aged woman? What does caring about what other people think, how does that look to you? Everybody says that they don't care what everybody thinks, but no one ever really gives a definition of like, this is what it looks like.
Okay.
Not caring, or this is what it looks like when I do care about, like, outside forces. How does that look to you? And because I'm going somewhere with this, but
no, yeah, no, it's you of course have the superficial things where you don't worry so much about your appearance, and I still do, of course, but it's not like I'm not going to spend an hour worrying about my outfit to go out for the night because I'm comfortable in my skin. I'm wearing tunics now. Tunics is a metaphor for just wearing whatever I want that I feel comfortable in. And as far as not caring what other people think, Doug knows, he follows me on Twitter, and I say a lot of awful things to Texas politicians who are doing awful things. But beyond that, it's, I'm not afraid to speak up in my neighborhood and in my community. I was interviewed about my book for the Austin newspaper, and I said something about how I don't understand why white women vote against their own self-interests, because it's like chicken voting for the we're going to murder chickens party. It makes no sense to me. Probably 10 years ago, I wouldn't have said something like that in such a public forum, worried about what the other parents and other people would think of me. And then maybe that would affect my kids, and if they wanted, to be around our family. But now I don't care at all because the stakes are too high. Also, my kids are out of school, and I don't have that kind of barrier anymore. So it's getting older. It's your kids no longer being the play date age and all of that. And like I said, the stakes are too high. You just can't be quiet at this moment in history. There's too much going on. And one thing I've noticed is, when I go to rallies or to protests or whatever, I try to be good about putting on Twitter or on social media that I'm doing that, because I want to encourage other people who maybe are nervous or scared, or they don't have a friend who's going, I want them to know that they can come and join me and find me. And that's happened a lot because I think we're stronger when we're together. And, I'll be a little bit more, I have too much bravado where I'll walk up to the idiots carrying guns down on the Texas state capitol steps. And, my friends are like yanking me back, but it's just, like I said, this is the time that if you're going to be loud, you need to be loud. So it's the moment in history, but also my age that is kind of culminating in wanting to say what the right thing to say is.
I also wanted to accent your answers. And one of the things that popped out to me was the appearance thing. And I think a lot of men miss this about how women have to navigate through the world, meaning everything's about y'all's looks. And there's an element of that with men, but it's just not even really comparable to that. So hats off to you for having that, or being able to have that awareness and being able to shed that at some point. It is, societal forces are strong, and I think they're stronger when we're younger, when we have less of a compass of who we are. So then we can be very, very persuaded by outside forces. And I mean, sometimes outside forces, Wendy's, outside of your house, your significant other, your kids, and then really almost outside of there, like even uncles and cousins and sometimes even parents, you feel are outside that bubble of, look, I don't care anymore. I gave y'all the respect for a couple decades here, and I'm pretty tired of it now. And I'm just going to live my life. So that's kind of how it looks for me. And I just wanted you to be able to express that, because a lot of people say those words, which is, I used to care and now I don't. And I just wanted you to be able to express that, given that you're writing books about it and people are taking your word pretty highly, which they should. But it's really hard to get out of that when you were in your 20s, not knowing who you are, and being pulled and pushed by everywhere. So it almost feels like, Wendi, you almost have to just go through that in life. And really, I mean, people are going to hear that, and it sounds really good when you're 20, like, yeah, I don't care what people think. But ultimately, at the end of the day, a lot of people and a lot of forces are really controlling how you think. And so hats off to you, and shout out for this book. Hopefully it reaches a whole bunch of people. And hopefully your Twitter account, I want to segue to that a little bit and then throw it over to Doug. But hopefully your Twitter account's another place where people can hopefully get this, for lack of a better term, like, kick-ass idea of like, look, it's really about you and the way you think. And some people just need to be pushed aside. Now, the ones that you decide to push aside, that's all, personal, and you're just going to have to navigate. Those are rough seas that I think everybody has to navigate. But yeah, so I don't have anything else, Doug. I just wanted to say, Doug, I kind of want to toss it to you because one of the things that Doug really talked to me about you, Wendi, was your Twitter page. So I know Doug wants to.
Well, it's in the dying throes, I think.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, we're gonna move over to Spottable though, Wendi. So be ready. Be ready. Okay, cool. But I think Spottable, we brought it up. I think Spottable is going to be great. Once we get an app and we get, kind of the same functionality, because I believe a lot of the nonsense that Elon still lets go on is just not going to happen there. One quick example, Doug, I don't know if you saw, because I know, Doug, you follow, I know sometimes I see you jumping on my stuff and liking it. There was literally a picture of a black person being lynched on Twitter. And then I wrote under the Twitter, I was like, oh, so how long is I said, you seem nice to the person who posted it. And then I was like, and how long is Elon, and I tagged him, gonna let something like this go? And I still think the post is still there.
I'm sure it is.
I tagged Mr. Elon, and I know he looks at his tags because he's so petty with like certain people, and then he jumps on these things, and acting all high and mighty. So I know he checks his ats because he's obsessive, crazy lunatic. And yes, I love saying this on Twitter, by the way. He's an obsessive, crazy, narcissistic lunatic. So I know he saw it, or I just assumed that he saw it. His moderator should have saw it. I bet you it's still there. And Spottable's not going to have that. They don't have it now, and they're not going to have this hateful shit. Like, we don't need to be policing your own social media. We don't need to be the police at the social media. You got to have your own. So it's just a mess. And unfortunately, it used to be a really good place to, get out your word, right, Wendy? Like, and in a quick manner, and people can do it. But it's just a mess now. So I don't know if you want to respond to that, or Doug, you got to follow up.
I'd like to hear Wendy's response if she's got one.
No, it's really sad. I think it's really sad. And I don't understand his motivation or his business model or anything. And it's just weird. It's really weird. And I had a very successful parody Twitter account years ago called Paul Ryan Gosling. That was a mashup of Paul Ryan and Ryan Gosling. And I did it with 3 friends. And we were anonymous, and every tweet would be like, "Hey girl, I hope you're middle class because I can't wait to screw you." So we were doing like pretty sharp political commentary that was funny. And the tweets were on the Today Show, on Maddow, like they got a lot of attention, and we had,
it was a pretty big thing.
Yeah, hundreds of thousands of followers. So that was such a wonderful forum that if, I was just a mom in Texas doing this from my house, and they were the similar situations, and that wouldn't have happened without something like Twitter. So I will always think fondly of it. And it's sad how there are things like when his verdict came in the other day, I couldn't see anything about it happening live on Twitter. Like, that was all suppressed. Mm-hmm. So I was getting updates from friends who were watching it on TV, who were like, "Oh my God, we're going back to like watching the news on TV," because it's also changed. So I don't know. I've been trying Blue Sky a little bit, and we'll see what that happens. But there are so many alternatives that are trying to make a go of it, and we'll just see where everybody ultimately lands. But yeah, and it's not, right now it's, I feel that thing where if I've been on it too long, I don't feel good.
Yeah.
So it's like an addiction to break, which is probably ultimately better in the long run.
Yeah. I think Twitter was a good place to start finding people to talk to in different ways, like in a far different way than like Facebook or MySpace or any of those things. This is a way different way, and it was much more instantaneous. And it also was, as it grew, it got to a point where you found news, and you found it fast. Like, it wasn't like getting it from a newspaper or TV. That this was much more, and you could get it right from the source where people were. So I don't know. The other thing is he just announced he was going to announce a woman as a CEO.
Yeah,
and
racist.
And I was reading something where somebody said, "Yeah, but this is what he's going to do. He ran it into the ground, but now before it fails, he's going to put a woman in charge and get applauded for it. And then when it fails, he can blame her." And I was like,
"You're right, yeah."
And I was like, "Yeah, that sounds like his MO." Unfortunately, so.
And now he lives in Austin, so we're also super happy about that.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and he's flying starships all over the place and crashing them, and like it's this damn playground. But I did hear, I don't know if y'all heard that apparently Tesla's moving to remove him as CEO.
Okay.
I don't know if y'all saw that.
No, that's good news.
And then Tesla stock crashed today on that news. Tesla stock should go up because that should be a good thing.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
That's an aside for. I really have a love-hate relationship with him, Wendy, because I am a huge space science person. I went to school for aerospace engineer, but never and astrophysics, but never finished because of money. And so I love that field. I'm in it. I love SpaceX. I have this love-hate relationship with Elon because of SpaceX. So I want him to be fired at all these places, so that maybe he can just concentrate on SpaceX and worry about the environment in Texas instead of flying these starships without all this other fucking shit. Even though I like to see the starships, I like it. but like you got to have some kind of environmental. You know, there are people who live around that place, Elon. There's reasons why we usually just fire space rockets in Florida because that's a space that's safe, not around people, not around environmental things that you could ruin, Mr. Billionaire who doesn't care about anything besides your own damn shit. So I hope he gets fired from all these places and he can just go back to SpaceX and worry about putting himself on Mars and leaving himself there. That'd be great. So that being said, Doug, real quick, I open up my second, and it's going to only be my second because it's a big one. It is called Sensitive King.
Ooh.
It is Abby style triple, Doug.
Wow. From whom?
It's from my friends, our friends over at Supermoon in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Supermoon.
Supermoon, yes, they do these. They do most of their stuff is barrel age. They're a really small house run by one guy, pretty much, a couple staffers. It's really, really good stuff. But this is my triple and my nice glass.
Your
so
fancy Orval
I kind of tease that, yes. So a triple is a big boozy Belgian beer. Wendy, I'm not sure if you're familiar with it. And they usually drink smooth and light, and this one does with the Belgian yeast. This is fantastic, Doug. And triple is one of my favorite styles for sure. Top 5, no question. Probably top 3.
Yeah.
And this is a good one. It's everything you want out of it, man. I paid $9 for this bottle, so it's not a full. Gosh. Yeah, it's a lot, but it's a good beer. And it'll be a nice little buzz going on here. Yeah, you better check those hours though. Their hours are limited and at night. But Rob, the owner, is awesome. If you have connections to him like me, you can hook up all day. He'll drop you off somewhere. But yeah, their hours are kind of limited, JC. You're gonna have to check that.
Yep.
But yeah, Good Times is a good one. Just wanted to get that in. But Doug, I'm sorry.
No, so I'm gonna do second beer, and then we have a question for Wendy and her background. So so I opened this from Prison City Beer, which is Tangerine Wit. So this is just like it's implied, it's a wit beer, tangerine, not very high ABV. I think it was.
Doug's taking it easy tonight.
Yeah, 5%. I have one more, and that one is a big one. But so lots of tangerine on the nose, not so much on the palate. But man, the wit beer is like just a perfect classic wit beer, which just has a little bit of hint of citrus. So cheers to you. So Wendy, what we have here is we have a question about your candles.
Oh, I have Angela Lansbury, because I was told that I look like her, which was super flattering when you're 25. And Beto O'Rourke, who I campaigned really, really hard for, but the voters did not turn out to vote for him to be governor of Texas.
Or senator either.
Or senator.
I know.
So yeah, they didn't work, but I still look at them every day.
Yep. So I gotta give Wendy a solid 8 for her background. I like the books. I like let's see here. Let's see here. I like the book. I like the picture. I like that I could see that you're at your desk and you actually work there. So that's all really good.
Chair? That's from Radio City Music Hall.
Oh, 8.5, Doug.
Yeah, that jacked it up, right?
Yeah, that's dope. Yeah. Right, and I like how it looks like she lived there. She lives there. She works there. Like, yeah. I don't like if it's too clean, I'm questioning that, Wendy. I am.
Yeah, it's not a WeWork. No.
Right, and right.
It's not a WeWork.
Right. We don't live in museums like like when we were younger, there used to be that room, even in our tiny house where like you couldn't sit on the sofa, Doug. I don't know if you had that. but I don't
We
know what
didn't,
the
but
hell was
I
going
know
on.
the plastic covered sofa.
Plastic covers. What the hell was that back in the day? Y'all
For
were
company.
crazy. This shit was crazy though. Like now we wouldn't even. Now we laugh at that.
Yeah.
Doug, did you have that nonsense though? Like
we didn't have the you can't sit on the couch. I mean, we were not wealthy by any stretch of the imagination.
neither was I.
But,
right.
you know, I
Wealthy
grew up
had
in
nothing to
super,
do with it, actually.
yeah, but I had super. I was in super rural Pennsylvania. Now, what was funny is my grandmother grew up in the Depression, so she was like a super penny pincher. So she would like grab any furniture she could find from any place. To put in her
Oh,
house.
okay.
It was great. I'm like, are you sure
those.
that's going to be okay? That was out in old man Jimbo's yard. What are you doing? She'd be like, it's a free couch. I'm like, oh, okay.
Right. No, it was the plastic on the couch for us, for sure. And then yeah, like, but they let that big ass dog sit on the damn sofa, but I couldn't. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was my grandparents. But
Yeah.
as they got older, that kind of like, I don't know, dissipated a little bit. It kind of went away. It was good because I don't know why it was there in the first place.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I have another question for Wendi though,
Yeah.
or actually wondering your perspective on this. So you're talking a bit about not being like being loud, being a voice, and you know being a woman, and then you and Greg is a person of color, obviously, and I'm just a straight white guy. So like, what's funny is like I find myself getting uncomfortable voicing my opinion if I know there are people with guns around and you just are like walking up to them, like poking the bear. Like I'm just like, it's weird to me that I am a super privileged person and I can't do that. Like that's pretty badass.
But the ones that show up at the Capitol of Texas or used to look like the biggest dweebs that wouldn't even know what to do with the guns. So that's part of it. They aren't actually scary, and they're just like idiots. So I think I have such contempt for them and what they're doing, and they're just there for show. So I probably have more of a bravado than I should, because it is scary. I mean, I need to be careful about that. And there's so much, I've spent half of my time in Austin protesting at the Capitol for one thing or another. And I do like, let me say that I don't like what's going on in Texas. I think it's horrific. I am really disgusted with our leadership, all of that. That said, if you're in a position to be here and this is where you live and this is where your home is and you don't like it, you need to get out there and fight and protest and try to do something about it. So I appreciate that there's a challenge and there's work to be done, and I try to align myself with people doing that work rather than just staying home and getting, crying about it. It's the Joan Baez quote that action is the antidote to despair. So I try to live by that. Still, I wish that didn't happen. I wish I could just like spend my Saturdays hanging out watching TV rather than going down for a March for Our Lives protest or a reproductive rights protest or whatever. But as long as I'm here and I am able and I have a voice and I have the means to get down there and speak for people that aren't able to come down, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, I just think it's pretty badass because, like I said, I'm in upstate New York, and upstate New York, the rural parts of it are very red.
I've heard, yeah.
And it's sometimes we're like, even like if we're driving around and I get mad at somebody, my wife's like, maybe don't piss them off because you don't know that they're going to shoot at you from their car. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's a problem now. You're like, sometimes
it's a problem now. Yeah, because you just now you have permitless carry, right?
I think I'm not sure we're there yet. I have to look. Yeah.
Okay.
Usually I'm pretty up on that stuff, and for some reason I don't think about that.
Yeah, I agree, Jonathan. That it's gotten Texas. We never had the gun violence that we have had, in just the last year, the last month, it's gotten so much worse. And it's so disheartening when the leaders, the bill to raise the age to buy an AR-15 from 18 to 21 passed the House, which was remarkable, with a lot of the Uvalde families that had worked for that. And then it just died in the second House. And the fact that they wouldn't even, like, they're standing on, the Republicans are standing on principle that 18-year-olds should be able to buy automatic weapons. Like, there's just no, they're not even pretending anymore to care about basic public safety. So yeah, it was a tough week.
Okay.
Oh, I was just gonna say I just see some Republican candidate somewhere, I don't know exactly where, was proposing to raise the voting age up to 25, but not, and he said, and their only caveats was like, unless you are in the military, which guess who the military predominantly votes for,
Yeah.
or you can pass the entrance exam that immigrants have to take.
It's just we're backsliding so much.
Yeah.
Have either of you been to the Legacy Museum in Montgomery, Alabama?
No, I want to though.
Oh, it's a must. Like every American needs to go to that. And my husband and I just went there on spring break, and they had an example of the test that Black people had to take to vote. And it was like, guess how many jelly beans are in this jar, and all of these just impossible things. And you see that, and then what you just said about the voting age and things, they're trying to do. It's like, this is not necessarily new. They've been doing these things for 100 years, but it's just like now coming back, and they're not being so in the dark about it. They're just being so obvious about it. But yeah, you both of you should put that on your list. It's a must see. Yeah, the Legacy Museum. It's like, you will be shattered when you leave, but it's like very crucial that more people in the country go see it.
Are you good, or?
I'm
okay.
good.
Now I forgot. Oh, so Wendi, you were born and raised in Texas?
No, I was born and raised in North Dakota. So I'm probably the only person you've met from North Dakota. Yes.
We know South Dakota folks. Greg.
Yeah, exactly, but not North Dakota.
Not North Dakota.
I met some North Dakota people driving through at a brewery, but I don't know them.
All right.
But outside of that, no. I didn't do that. No. So you have a rich history with red states for sure.
Was it red then? Was it red then?
No.
When did
that's recent.
When did you get to Texas? If that.
I went to college at University of Oregon, where my younger son is now. Go Ducks! He loves it. And then I majored in film and TV, and I moved to LA after college. And I worked for Warner Brothers and for a couple of talent agencies and other entertainment places. And my husband and I got married then, pretty young. And after a while, we're like, this is not where we want to be. We don't want to raise a family here. We don't want to buy a house here, blah, blah. So we moved to Texas in 98 into Austin, because it was small and cheap and weird and liberal. And it's not really many of those things anymore, but it's still a blue dot in a red state. Mm-hmm. But it's, it has its challenges. So I'm still happy we're here.
Yeah, and the reason I asked that is because I wanted to ask your perspective of how long you've been in Texas, and do you feel that Texas is getting redder? And I don't mean electoral wise, meaning I don't mean like how close are they to voting blue as a total. I'm actually saying redder as far as policy goes. Do you feel that Texas is? I feel, not being from Texas, looking in, I feel that it's getting ratcheted up. Do you feel that too?
It's getting much more red and much more restrictive as far as what the leaders are passing and legislating. However, there are more non-voters in Texas than there are voters. So that's the frustrating thing. If everybody who is eligible to vote in Texas, disregarding all of the gerrymandering and everything, if everybody was voting for governor who could, we would be a blue state. But they just, through apathy or it's too challenging or what have you, Texas is a non-voting state. So when Beto ran against Abbott for the last election, my friends and I were out there pounding the pavement and doing everything we could, making phone calls to get those people to the polls, because it's not, what the leaders are doing is not representative of the people I know. And I think I read recently that 91% of Texans want the age to buy an automatic weapon raised to 21. 91%. Yeah, they do, the lawmakers don't listen to the constituency. They're being paid by the NRA. They're, doing whatever the money they get tells them to do. So it's really frustrating. And they're not the people the people I know, my neighbors, they're not these hateful jerks. I mean, there's some, like the guy with the Hillary sign, but that's not normal. So I also will say that when Beto lost to Ted Cruz, which wasn't by a lot, most of the Texans who voted for Ted Cruz were recent transplants from California. So we're getting a huge influx of people, and they're the people that are moving here for the freedom or whatever, but they're from other states. So it's not the native Texans or the people who've been here a long time who are necessarily banning books and causing trouble in school and doing all of that stuff. It's the transplants who are kind of co-opting Texas for their own political needs. This is fun for a humor writer, isn't it?
Yeah, but this is the thing. You're not just a humor writer. You're a person, and that's the thing. Is that, but yeah, it's from the outside looking in, it looks really shitty. Although I was pleased to see. I was really pleased to see Colin Allred announce he was going to run against Ted
He's
Cruz.
amazing. Yeah, he's amazing. So I think he has a good chance. But it's just, when they had a memorial ceremony for the victims of the Allen Outlet Mall shooting, it was at a church up there, and the minister said a prayer for Greg Abbott before he said it for the actual victims of the shooting. So you're dealing with that. It's the rural and country areas that are supporting him. All of you have Houston, San Antonio, Dallas, and Austin are all blue. We're all blue. So it's just a matter, like I said, of getting out the vote and making the big cities do it. Oh my God, Moms for Liberty. Somebody called them
Planned Parenthood.
Yes, Planned Parenthood. Yes.
That's a great moniker.
Also, JH needs to point out they're in 38 states, bro. So
yeah.
They're active in 38 states, and yes, Wisconsin is one of them. But I think we pushed back on them a little bit, Jonathan. But we still got work to do. I said in a private group with Doug, I think we're going to have to, I think, eventually get a counter group to them. Literally a group to just counter them and say, we got to get people in our school boards. We got to get good people in our school boards. And, again, everybody's like, Greg, you go. Okay, great. I'll go here in Wisconsin, but I can't cover 38 states, y'all. So, it's going to have to be a bigger thing than our little stream here. But we got to start somewhere because they are just affecting things in just a really bad way. And
there really are more of us than there are of them.
We push back here. Yeah. They're just a loud minority. Mm-hmm. And, they're so loud and obnoxious that we almost feel that they make it feel like they're the big ones, Wendy, when a lot of us are silent, as you say. And it's not really, it even goes beyond voting, because, I think, a lot of people don't understand what's really going on at the school boards. They just don't know. They're not either engaged or, again, we're Americans. We're too busy, quote, living our lives, as we always say. We're too busy to do this stuff. And it's just like, no, we got to be busy doing this stuff. And that's
not getting tricked either. And they know how to message. They know how to organize a message. And I'll talk to my sister sometime, and she's like, well, I thought this was about, anti-gay or blah, 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 and I'm like, no, let me explain it to you. Like, so talk to your neighbors, talk to your family, talk to your friends, because they don't always, Doug and I read Twitter more than most people. And you assume that everybody in your life does. Yeah. And they don't know, you're like, oh, did you see that thing that they said about blah, blah, blah? They have no idea. So, and it's not fun to talk to family about politics always, but
no, I can give you an example of that. One of my kids is, when they graduate college, they are going to move to Colorado, and they are LGBTQ, and we are rightfully concerned of the states they have to drive through to get there, because some of those states they aren't allowed to exist.
Yeah.
And so we are worried because they are driving out with their partner, and their partner is also LGBTQ, obviously. So we're worried, and my wife was explaining that to her parents, and her parents are like, well, they need to worry about the migrants, like the immigrants, that they're going to be the ones that and I'm like, that is not at all what happens.
No.
They get their information from OAN. Fox News is too liberal for them. So they're getting this information stream of nonsense. So and then they always tell my wife, you're being just so emotional, so hysterical. And I'm like, you don't understand, and you're not listening. So it's just, I can totally understand what you're saying there, but not fun discussing that with your family.
No, but we'll let them know that if they need to stop in Austin, give them my contact information. And I know people in Boulder and Denver that are wonderful. And Denver is a really open-minded gay rights city.
Yeah, they are going to be closer to Boulder, I believe. So
okay, good.
But we also, my brother-in-law and his wife, who are not that conservative at all, are near there. They're about 30 minutes away, so they have some base for some help if they need it. But I appreciate that. I do.
So
yeah, my son and I were in Denver last summer during the gay rights weekend, or gay pride weekend, and it was huge. And it was also the same weekend that the Colorado Avalanche were in the Stanley Cup finals. So downtown was quite interesting with the mix of gay pride and hockey fans. But, there were no incidents. Everybody was having fun.
Yep.
I love to remind people that America is one of the most violent places in the world. Okay? So, with that being said, there's really no way that the immigrants could be more violent than we are.
Oh, but they are told
impossible. That. No, I don't care what they're told. I'm here to tell everybody that it's a fucking lie and it's not true. The immigrants are literally coming from places, unless you're coming from Nicaragua, where there's a civil war and a dictator doing genocide down there. Unless you're coming from there, this is a more violent place than even Mexico. Yes, I said it. And don't give me this crap about, well, the police are corrupt in Mexico.
They're corrupt here.
You must be one of those Blue Lives Matter morons. Also, just so you know, Blue Lives, they pick that job. It's completely 100% voluntary. This skin is not voluntary, y'all. Just so you know, I didn't volunteer or sign up for this. I am proud to be Black. I love being Black, and I would never change it for anything. But I didn't choose this. Okay, just so you know. Okay, cool. So while we're there, okay, so take your Blue Lives Matter and shove it straight up your ass. And I'm sorry, Wendi. I am sorry, Wendi.
I'm going to quote you to my husband. He'll love it.
I'm apologizing for what I'm about to say in your presence. But y'all can kiss my whole Black ass from the crack to the bottom. I don't give a fuck about your fucking Blue Lives Matter. You can take that shit again, shove it up your ass, and then send it to the sun. I'm so tired of this shit. They pick that job. It's a volunteer job, and they pick it, and then all of a sudden we're there in some white supremacy, cultish type organization, because that's what our cops are. So don't give me that the cops in Mexico are corrupt and they're with the government and they're all. It's the same thing here, if not worse. Because there's a guise in America that America's free and great and safe, and all that is this. It's just a a bunch of hokey pokey bullshit. A couple migrants come over here, do some criming, and y'all want to blow it up like it's like, like America, where we have a shooting a day. Actually, it's more than a shooting a day at this fucking point. So just stop with the migrants are like the migrants are not more violent than us. They can't be. It's statistically most likely impossible. So stop right there. Thank you. And I'm sorry, Wendi, if I, you're a writer, you have prestige. Doug and I don't have any, so we have nothing to lose here. So it's all good. So cool. You're a writer. You might be having some things going on in Hollywood. You know what I mean? You got it going on, Wendi. I just want to make sure that everybody knows that was me talking.
You got
no one else.
These things now. Like, what's the point of not saying them, right?
Mm-hmm. And I'm just tired of it. I'm tired of it. And I know you are too, Wendi. I can tell by your Twitter feed and by what I just jumped on it a couple weeks ago. Doug told me. I haven't been there the whole time, but yeah. So we do have somebody that wanted to say something to you. Address you directly. Our friend Kevin McKeever.
Kevin.
Sounds like y'all have met.
We have, in fact. Kevin sent me this. It's Barry Manilow, Can't Smile Without You.
We didn't even talk about Barry Manilow yet. Oh, no.
We didn't. I think they're...
Great segue.
Yeah. It's the other one. They're sitting here, and I write the songs.
So he gave you four. They're 45s, right?
They're 45s. I don't know how to play them, but I'm just leaving them right here. I look at them every day.
Kevin's very happy now. Kevin's Kevin's like the biggest curmudgeon we have as a fan, and we love him though. He's like, although he and I battle on a particular beer, but like, yeah.
McKeever, he said that, not me.
Hey.
So
Hey, I'm a curmudgeon in my own way.
Kevin and I hung out a few times at the long ago blogging conferences they used to have.
Yeah, I still think Mom 2's going on, right? It was Mom 2.
Yeah, that one is still going on, but Dad 2 isn't, I don't think.
No, it's not.
No, and then Blog Her, that's gone and weird, and they just did have Mom 2.0, but it's all of the moms are now like 28 years old and they're influencers, so it's different. Not bad, just different.
Yeah, so that's like you go, oh, I am twice your age. Like, not that I know how, but like it feels like when they're in their mid-20s, I'm like, I'm 51. I'm twice as old as you.
I know.
Now, doesn't mean you don't have an opinion. It just means I might not trust it as much as somebody who's been through the wars a bit. Yeah.
No, and I think a lot of the my generation of bloggers and writers are all doing different things. A lot are social media professionals. A lot are authors. A lot are not doing anything online anymore. So it's kind of, we've transitioned, and then the younger group is, writing about diapers and all of that stuff. And, so it's just the natural change.
Progression of growing out of being a mommy blogger and a daddy blogger. Yep. And I kind of wanted to highlight, I'm not sure who the Facebook user is, but doesn't matter.
It's Micah Adams.
It doesn't matter. Thank you. Sorry. I didn't want to know, actually, because I didn't want to. It doesn't matter. I went to one during COVID, and there's some interesting folks, and I believe that they were talking about the school board, and I just wanted to kind of hit Wendi with this, which is COVID was bad for many things. COVID was good for engagement. I think I think it was pretty clear, especially whether it be the protests or anything. It was a good time for people to engage in things they normally didn't do. So was that the same way for you during COVID? Did you jump into things maybe a little harder because you had time that you still do now? Or did you jump in a couple things and then you're not doing them anymore? Or how did COVID affect the way your activism worked, or kind of your life?
Well, I actually wound up writing 3 books during COVID. So I have my Tunic book, and then I have a middle grade book called Ginger Mancino, Kid Comedian, that came out almost a year ago, about a washed up 12-year-old comedian named Ginger who, thank you. And then I wrote just a gift book that's perfect for Father's Day called Socks for Chronicle Books. I don't know if you guys have that one, but it's, I was given the Chronicle editor emailed me and said, can you write a funny book about socks? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Why not? Let me try it. So I was busy doing that during COVID, in addition to having 2 kids at home. My son graduated high school in 2020 and then had to start college from his bedroom. And then another son who's in high school. And my husband teaches at University of Texas. So he was home. So you all know it was a lot of people underfoot, which was different. Yeah. And I'm somebody who likes to kind of have my own puttering around space. So that was different. One thing I did try during the pandemic was making Olive Garden breadsticks from scratch, which turned out to be a 10-hour misadventure, and nobody liked them. And yeah, that was terrible. So I don't know, but it's in some ways I don't miss that at all. But one thing I liked was that you knew where everybody was. It was just sort of like, everybody was online, or you could reach people, or nobody was out doing what they shouldn't do. So that was a little bit comforting that we were all in it together. I didn't mind that. And then once it started fracturing with the mask fights and the vaccine fights and the, what is that person doing there? They shouldn't be there. That was a little bit disturbing. But when it started, it was kind of nice that we were all on the same team, I guess. Of course, that dissipated with the people burning their masks and punching flight attendants.
Doug?
Nah,
I don't know how to follow that up.
No, and listen, I didn't write books. I wrote mostly nothing. I wrote a lot of short stories nobody wants to publish. So that's what I did.
Well, that's still, that doesn't mean they don't, even if they don't want to publish it, that's you're scratching your creative itch, and everything you're writing is going to lead to writing something else and writing something. You learn from everything you write, I think.
Yeah. And I agree. And it does do the thing where, I wrote a lot for dad blogging stuff for a while, and then my kids got older to a point where I didn't think it was appropriate for me to be writing about them. So then I started writing a little bit more about just kind of my sort of mental wellness, which, whatever. That was fun. But I always really wanted to write fiction, so I've been writing like fiction stuff. I started 4 different books. I started 4 different books, finished none of them. So it's been great. So how about I have my last beer before we start moving on to some other things.
So
go ahead,
you
Greg.
met Kevin a dad too, real quick. What he says. It wasn't mom too, it was dad too.
Yeah, dad too in Austin. Kevin and I stood in the mud at Stubbs listening to some band. I don't remember
who. Yeah, he said, I don't know if he was.
Yep.
He wore trench coat. Sounds kind of creepy, Kevin. I'm just saying.
Very creepy, but probably accurate.
Yeah. Kevin. We missed that guy. He hasn't been on here in a while. Go ahead, Greg.
No, Doug, this is your third and final?
Yeah, sorry. So I picked up a limited edition clown shoes that I found.
Oh.
It's kind of appropriate, respectfully.
Yeah. So this one is called Mist on the Oaks. It's an imperial stout aged in bourbon barrels and rum barrels. So that's interesting. 2 different barrel aging. 10% rich and malty. That's what they just. Which Greg will tell you, I tend to get beers that have like 50 different ingredients in them because I think that's fascinating, and usually they don't taste all that great. But I want to try them because somebody made the effort.
So have you, either of you tried Shiner beer?
Yes.
Yeah, that's my favorite. I don't drink beer that much anymore, but that's my favorite.
Their prickly pear beer that they had, oh my God, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Yep, see, nice and dark.
It does sound yummy.
Oh, it's nice and boozy. And it's funny, you could, usually get the barrel age smell out of it, but you also get that nice sweet rum smell out of it too. That's really interesting. Really interesting blend of smells.
Got anything special going this Mother's Day weekend, Wendy?
Well, my kids, my older son goes to college in London, so he's not home. And my other son is in college at Oregon. So this is the first year I won't have a kid at home. But my husband, Chris, and I are planning on going to some art museums and just sort of hanging out. So that's been a new thing. I don't know if either, well, Doug, you're not there yet. I don't know about you, Greg, but the empty nest. Um, I mean, it's kind of great because we still like each other. So today we
That's
went
good.
to we went to a
That's helpful.
matinee. Yeah, we went to a matinee of the movie Air, the Nike movie,
Oh yeah.
and yeah, which we liked quite a bit. And then it's
except
just
for the fire alarm, but
the fire alarm. Yeah, like right when they're like, okay, Michael Jordan's coming in to meet with Nike, like the big crucial moment, the fire alarm went off and we had to evacuate. So I'm like, did he get the deal? Is that Air Jordan? Did it happen? I don't know. It's on Amazon Prime too, if anybody wants to watch it. But I went to college in Oregon, which is Nike Town, and
oh yeah,
so
that's true.
yeah.
Not Corvallis. Not Corvallis. It was
No, Eugene.
sorry.
So so I don't know what we're doing for Mother's Day. It's supposed to, we have flash flood warnings in Austin. Yeah, I agree with Kevin. The Shiner Strawberry Blonde is really good. They have a great brewery. They redid all of the tours and everything. So if you go out to Shiner, Texas, which is just a little town, probably about an hour from Austin, they have a really cool brewery, and you can get all of their beer samples, see what, how they put it together. They have like the hard seltzer, which I don't care for, but they have a whole bunch of it, trying to whatever. But it's very German, very old Texas style. That might scare you, but it's actually kind of a fun day.
Deservedly so. Doug, you watching something? Anything, Doug? You good?
Yeah, I can share something here because
Doug, you want to?
Oh, go ahead.
I'm
Do your
sorry.
thing.
No. What are your tasting notes on that beer yet? I don't think we got them.
It's fucking delicious. It's it's like I said, it was an interesting blend of smells, and the flavors are there too because you get the boozy barrel aged and a little bit of the sweetness from the rum, but a really good solid stout. And yeah, you're right. We do need a bottle share. It's been a while.
Okay. All right. Well, okay. Well, now we'll do this. So, Wendi, this is the time of the show that we like to talk about what we're watching, and we like to quiz our guests because Doug is always looking for recommendations. The guy never stops. He watches a lot of stuff, but he doesn't binge. I don't know. You can ask him how that works. But
2 episodes a day.
We always like to hear what our guests are watching. So, is there anything that you're watching that you would like to share?
I watch a lot. I love Succession, and pretty much anything on HBO I like, but now it's merged with Discovery, which is super weird. I don't know what to make about that.
And now it's called Max.
I know,
Yeah.
and it's weird. But my husband and I always try to find something to watch together, and we've kind of landed on watching old Taxi shows, the sitcom.
Yeah, with Danny DeVito.
So good. And
I
Cheers.
thought you meant Taxi Cab Confessions, but
No. Oh God, no.
Oh, I love that. I love Doug. I love that. That was a guilty pleasure. Anyway, go on.
Taxi is so funny, and Cheers, which is a little bit, I mean, it's problematic. There's like sexual harassment, blah blah, but it's still super funny. And June 2nd, they're having a Cheers reunion in Austin. That I bought tickets for, so it'll be like Norm and Cliffy and Ted Danson, the whole thing. So that should be kind of interesting.
Wendi, where do you find Taxi?
Taxi's on Paramount, I think. Paramount or Paramount Plus, yeah. Also, a show that we loved, it's a little bit old, but on Paramount Plus was The Offer, and about The Godfather, the making of The Godfather.
Oh, yeah.
It's scripted, so it has somebody playing Coppola, somebody playing Albert Ruddy, the producer, blah, blah, blah. But we really, really like that.
So, Wendi, you said that. So, what I'm hearing is Taxi aged well, but
Yeah.
but Cheers not so much.
Not, I mean, it has like a lot of the sexual harassment and like, well,
Right.
you know, I'm going to give $10 to anybody who gets a kiss from Rebecca by the end of the day. So stuff like that.
Right.
To be expected in a show that's 30 years old, but it's
Taxi
still
didn't have that though.
not really.
Wow.
Not
Okay.
really.
No, and that's what when we say around here it aged well, we mean like, you know what I mean? It aged well, meaning, you know, nowadays, you know, you can look at it and be like, you know, feel good about looking at it, as opposed to where, you know, even like, you know, I told Doug that I watched a Sanford and Son, and some of that did not age well.
No.
So like, right. But I enjoyed it though, but there were still some cringe moments, some things like, I don't know. You know, I don't feel good about that.
If you watch 30 Rock, which isn't that old, there's a lot of...
That didn't age well either?
No.
Even The Office, like the regular Office.
The Office, oh my gosh, yeah. There's a lot that...
And now, granted, I hate that show, but I'm in the minority on that. But
No. That has some... It's problematic, for sure.
Well, and things like Mad Men, like that was specifically made to accent the toxic masculinity. So that's always probably going to age well, because the theme of it was to say, hey, look, this is how it is in this industry. You know what I mean? Like, it's not 100%. Cool, but this is, you know, reflecting, you know, and that's why I think, you know, I agree with Whoopi Goldberg when she says, and I think Steven Spielberg said this too, but I think he said it in more asshat white man kind of way. But like, I think we need to keep the classics and let them just show. You know, I don't think we need to go back and edit them out. I think we need to show, you know, the way the things were and the way the story was told. And again, you know, if you know, we have sense, Wendy, so we can tell, hey, that's problematic. Hey, that's not cool what Norm said, and all that. So, Taxi, I've only saw 1 or 2 shows. So you're giving me, so you're giving me one. That's one I can go back to after I'm still on the Jeffersons, Doug. I got 2 more seasons. That shit's... It was like 13 years, Doug. That's crazy. Anyway, Doug, what are you watching? Wendy, are you done? I don't want to cut you off. Is there anything else?
No, well, I will say that my husband keeps telling me to stop talking like Reverend Jim from Taxi. So there's that.
Was that Christopher Lloyd that played him?
Yes. So
Christopher
funny.
Lloyd played him. Judd, young, much younger Judd Hirsch.
Very young, and Judd Hirsch. And I've been listening to James Burrows, the TV director. I've been listening to his audiobook, and he talks about directing Mary Tyler Moore and then going to Taxi and then going to Cheers and then Friends and Will and Grace. And if from a writing standpoint, it's really interesting just how he talks about the role of comedy and building the cast, and how, you know, like a serious actor can never do comedy, but a funny actor does really well with drama, like that. Just all of those sorts of things I kind of nerd out about. So if you are looking for a good audiobook or just a reading book, it's James Burrows. Yeah, Kevin says he likes Shrinking. I tried watching that. Oh yeah, I can't rewatch Magnum PI. I can't imagine.
Now, did you watch Severance?
I tried to, and people like it. I want to try it again.
I love that show.
People do, and I like all of the people involved in it, so I need to try it again.
And Ben Stiller directed that, by the way, which is
he's really talented.
Really weird.
I know, but he's
so funny.
He's a weird guy, but he's very talented.
Yeah.
WKRP, that's a good one.
Yeah. That's a good one.
I've only seen a couple. That'd be a good one.
I swear, as God is my witness, I thought turkeys can fly, which is like
every Thanksgiving.
Doug, what's up with yours? What you got?
All right, so this is what I'm watching. This is also on Apple Plus, like Severance and what was the other one?
Apple Plus, man, getting their shit together.
Yeah. So this
really
this is all in my wheelhouse. This is sci-fi apocalyptic stuff. Just Rebecca Ferguson's in it. I love anything she's in. Tim Robbins, Common's in it. Rashida Jones is in it for 1 episode. So spoiler alert there. But that show is basically like these folks are in a silo. They have no idea who built it. They have no idea why, but they live in it, and they believe that if they go outside, they die. So it's interesting because it's like 144 levels, which is an interesting number to use. But and basically there's the uppers, and then there's the down deep, or the people that are at the bottom. So it's a class system within the silo. So and apparently it takes like days to walk all the way down to the bottom of the silo. So yeah, I highly recommend this. I watched the first 2 episodes together one night and stayed up late doing it, which I never do because I'm old. And then I watched they released new episodes on Friday, so I watched it a couple hours before this show, so that way I could catch up.
Good to know.
Awesome. So a couple comments here, Doug. We'll take this off.
Oh,
sorry.
That's interesting.
Yeah, Bollywood. It's been a fun change of pace. I'm not sure where we find that. Kyle.
Oh, there's a gazillion Bollywood movies.
Yeah.
Unless he means a specific show. I don't know.
I loved Velma. Interesting, because Velma got bad reviews, so that's a good review. Yeah. That's cool. Magnum is so of its time, especially the unbuttoned Hawaiian shirts.
Hey, Kyle Thompson mentioned something called RRR, which is like an Indian action movie. Have you seen that, Wendy? It's like 4 freaking hours long, but it's like.
But it got a lot of Academy Award nominations, and they did the dance during the ceremony. Yeah, I haven't seen it though.
But it's like 4 hours long, so that's why it's like that's an investment to sit there for 4 hours watching one thing.
Dimension X radio show in the 40s and 50s, I think, did that silo story.
Oh, interesting.
Well, not that particular one, because this is based on something from an author called Hugh Huey, who wrote a series of short stories that were so popular he got picked up by a traditional book deal. So maybe he's basing it off that radio show, but like apparently it's a bit different. But I don't know. Maybe it's based on that. Who knows?
Awesome. So Wendy, this is the time that we wrap up.
Okay. Where did you get the little Ray Charles at the beginning? Where did you find that?
This fella?
Yeah. So good.
Oh, let's play
the keyboard guy.
Oh yeah.
You recording? Yeah. I'm not up. He don't know.
Hey, they actually
I saw that on TikTok the other day, so that's
the answer is Twitter, Wendy. Twitter.
Okay,
Twitter.
Okay.
I'm probably on Twitter more than you and Doug, if that's even believable.
Gosh.
I really love it. It's going to be something when I leave it. And yes, JHG, Spoutable is the place that I'm looking to go, but I'm looking to go anywhere as soon as it has the Twitter stuff and all y'all are there. I need my friends there too, but I'm ready to bail. I'm absolutely ready to bail, Wendy. I can't wait, but I need my peeps to come with me. So wherever everybody else goes, I think we're going to do that. But I think we all need to leave Elon sinking ship and let him spend $44 billion on whatever he wants to do. But I don't want to be a participant of it. I'm tired of it.
I agree.
With that being said, Wendy, Twitter. I can. What I'll do is I'll tag you in it tonight, and then you can see it. But Doug also said it's on TikTok, so Doug and I'll make sure you get it. How about that?
Thank you very much.
But he was great, and I loved how his friend tried to like poke it at the end. He's like swatted him down. That was great. He was jamming. Man, we're gonna. That's the type of fellow that you're gonna see in like 10 years.
Exactly.
He's gonna be like the keyboardist for like Jimmy Fallon or something.
Yeah.
And people are gonna be like, who is this guy? And they'll be like, remember him? He went viral in his little thing. And so that just brings joy. We usually like to have a happy clip to start the stream.
Not always. I think my favorite happy clip was when you did the video of the guy where Greg Abbott was coming to a restaurant. He was like, "Hey, Greg Abbott, man." And he's like, "Hey, how are you?" And he's like, "You're a real piece of shit." And we're like, "Oh."
You need to track that one down.
Yeah. Right. That was a while ago. I just be like, "That's awesome. Whoever that kid is, I'd like to give him a fucking fist bump because that was great."
So, Doug, last question for Wendi.
Just I would like to say, if you would like to seek Wendi out on social media, please do. You will be very. I'm going to tell you, you'll. It's an alternate between being like right the fuck on and fucking laughing your ass off. It's a really good mix.
Well, thank you.
And I just want to say thanks for being able to come on. I know it was a weird road to get here, but I'm glad you're here. And yeah, keep fighting the fight, and we're going to try to do the same here.
Yeah, this has been so much fun, and I'm up very late for a Friday night, even though it's 9:30. But it was worth it.
Yeah,
Worth it, and have a great weekend for Mother's Day and college graduations and high school graduations and everything else.
Yep.
So this is fun.
So, Wendi, is there anything that you have that we missed that you want to talk about, whether it be books, anything we missed, anything you want to say on the way out? This is your time. Because Doug and I we don't know anything. We don't know anything, so we probably missed something.
I'll say, if you care about what's happening in the country, get involved. And thank you, Jonathan. And join your local Moms Demand Action group. I know Wisconsin has a very powerful one that's making changes. And if you don't know how to get involved, send me an email. We'll figure it out. And, don't be quiet. This is not the time to be quiet. So that's what I have to say.
Excellent, Wendi. And as Doug said, third time was a charm.
Yes.
Doug said it earlier this week when you booked. She's like, third time's a charm. I'm like, hold on. We got to wait till everybody shows up.
We're here.
We've had some bumps, but thanks for persisting for us and with us. And obviously you're a persistent lady. So obviously that's part of who you are. So we want to thank you for working with us through this process to get you on, so to spread your word and to spread the good word. So thank you, Wendi. You have a great weekend.
This was fun.
Happy Mother's Day.
Thank you.
Good luck with the book. And we will be looking for you to come back and tell us everything in about a year or so or whatever.
About a year. We'll start booking it now.
Yeah.
So we can make sure we get it in time.
Yeah. Once you are a guest on the show, you become a permanent family member. So you can't get rid of us. So you can ghost us though. We've been ghosted.
All right.
So
Okay.
it's fine. It's fine. Okay. We really have, but that's another story for another time. Thanks, Wendi. You have a great weekend.
Bye. Good night. Thanks, everybody.
Bye. Take care. That was a great closing. Just close the laptop. Awesome.
Right. It's like,
no, that's great. Like, yep. Bye.
Right. Yeah, she persisted. Yes, Kyle, absolutely.
And it is interesting that she was like, oh, this is bad for like a comedy writer. But this is the thing. That's why I wanted her on, is because she's more than just funny. And she's really fucking funny. But she's got a lot to say. And the idea that she's like willing to like go up to people at the Capitol with guns and be like fucking mocking them to their face, that is badass. And like I said on the show, I
ain't trying to do that.
No, right. I am not trying to get, because I would say the wrong thing. And the problem is, as a guy, maybe they'd be less likely to shoot me, which seems dumb, but maybe not. But I'm a white guy. Let me preface it that way. If I were a person of color, I'd be much more likely to get shot.
Oh, don't shoot a black motherfucker in a second.
But it is interesting. It's like, so there's like a self-preservation thing, but Wendy's right. Like, we need people to stand up now. And like, I'm in a state that is quote unquote liberal. We're liberal because of New York City, but the rest of the state isn't. And I mean, you're in a state that has a lot of unliberal parts. So
many states do, though. We're not any different, really. We're not.
No, we're not really.
We're not.
So, but it is something like, I don't know if I've said it in the show, but like I got basically nominated to be the co-lead of our global pride initiative at this giant company that I work for. And I am like mortified because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And I'm not in the community myself.
I was going to say, you're not gay.
No, and I'm not queer in any facet
or anything. No, right. So I'm like,
but it's something because
you're adjacent, clearly adjacent.
But I have immediate family members who are, and that matters to me. So I'm starting to step up in my work environment, but that's my work environment, which is relatively safe. And I don't want to be like, I want to be a little more vocal, and I think I got to start taking some tips from Wendi, because that was really cool to hear.
Yep, and sometimes we got to stop and taste the biscuit.
Yeah, we didn't share that with Wendi. That's a shame.
We don't. We. I don't know if we should. I mean, we're good. You know, we're good. Yeah, we got him, man. We got him. It's cool.
Yeah. What it was great was that she was like, this is late for me. It's 9:30, and I'm like, that is my kind of night. Like, I'm gonna tell you, the only night I usually stay up late is with you, and it's funny because and then usually I get to sleep in some Saturday. I don't tomorrow, so yeah.
What does your wife think about that? The only time you stay up is with me.
She knows how much this means to me, and I mean that. This means a fuck ton to me. So
I was trying to make a sexual innuendo, and you just
well,
blew that shit out.
There's that too, but I was trying to minimize that, to nullify that amazing chemistry you and I have.
See, that's what I'm saying. And you're always up late with me, not her. So anyway.
All right, you first. You have 2. I got 3.
Yeah, we got this thing that my neighbor gave me, because what happened was I went to Milwaukee with all this beer, and I was like, it's one way. And ask Kyle, I brought home more than I think so. So then I literally came home, Doug, and just made 6-packs for all of my neighbors, and literally gave 1, 2, 3, 4 of my neighbors a 6-pack of beer. So my other neighbor comes back over, and she like a couple hours later, she's like, I got beer for you. And I'm like, I don't need any beer, but I'm grateful.
You have to accept, right?
I mean, I did, but like, this is one of them. So this is a really good one.
Is it the character in the front reminiscent of something on Overwatch?
A little,
right?
Yeah. My light isn't helping, but she seems to be a kick-ass Astro woman or something. Something's going on here.
Yeah.
But the can is interesting. It's got a lot going on. It tells you about the beer. The can art is really fun, and it's Mancino Brewing, out of Minneapolis. So, or I'm sorry, Minnesota. I'm not sure if it's Minneapolis. Mankato, I think it's outside of Minneapolis. So I am geography challenged, but I know it's Minnesota. So there you go. Minnesota, not Minneapolis. Minneapolis is the city. Minnesota is the state. All right. Why was that hard? I don't know. Let's see. Didn't bring me any seltzers home. That seltzer from Venture was banging, Kyle. It was banging. It was really, really good.
Even you, Greg, you were like, "This is fucking awesome." And Greg,
this is really good.
You're not really a seltzer guy.
I'm coming around, because again, they're becoming full flavored. It was probably too much sugar, Doug. Because they're being like they're just putting everything in them now. Remember, seltzers came out as like low, light, all that shit. I didn't like that shit. I like the full flavored ones though. And speaking of full flavored, this wonderful triple from Supermoon, I got when I was out in Milwaukee. This is fantastic. It's a triple. It drinks like a 4% beer. I'm pretty sure it's like triple start at like 10, 9. So this is up there. It doesn't. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's 9. It's 9.0. And it's great. Supermoon. If y'all near Milwaukee, hit up Supermoon. Again, they got like their hours are kind of like more weekend evening kind of thing.
Yeah.
But they're worth your stop. They do barrel-aged fermented, wonderful goodness. And Rob is a really nice guy, down to earth. So support Supermoon, and cheers to that. And while you talk, I'm going to finish my triple here.
Yeah. So I had really good beers throughout. I did not have a beer that was like even meh. I'm going to say probably, if I was going to rank them, this was probably, and I'm going to say least favorite. That is a misnomer. It was really good NA. So as a nice mango turmeric IPA, really hits the IPA flavor as an NA, which is really nice. And then Tangerine Wit, which is a 5% wit beer with tangerines. Like I said, the scent was great. And then it turned out just a wit with some more citrus flavors, which usually do have some citrus flavor, which is nice. But I will say the winner was by a lot. Was the Mist on the Oaks, which was an imperial stout aged in bourbon barrels and rum barrels. And the reason is because you get the rum and the bourbon scents, and you also get the rum and the bourbon flavors in this stout. And this was superb. I wish I would have bought more of them. That's how good this is. But this little 12-ounce can where I bought it was at a bottle shop, and this 12-ounce can was, I think, $7. So that's part of the reason why I didn't buy more. But if I go back there and there's more there, I'm buying them. Also, I would like to say the Miami Heat beat the Knicks in the series. The Knicks and Boston Celtics are my least favorite teams in the NBA. So screw you, Knicks. Also, the Lakers are destroying the Warriors 27-10 right now. So that's pretty interesting. We'll see if that holds up.
Also, the Knicks has to be the worst nickname in sports. My kids who don't really follow sports, we make fun of the nicknames more than anything. And as pointed out, the Knicks is just a dumb, fucking stupid nickname. The Knicks.
The Knickerbockers.
Knickerbocker. I know, but they don't say Knickerbockers. They say Knicks. Like, again, Knickerbocker would be cool if they said that, but they say Knicks. It says Knicks, the Knicks. Well, the Knicks are stupid. What are you, a nick in the wall? What is a nick? It's stupid. It's fucking stupid. And yes, I said,
when you're
come after me, fuck you. I don't care.
What, do you nick yourself when you're shaving? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like, ooh, that's scary. Like, I don't know if you saw, like I said, the heat was affecting the Heat, apparently, or the heat was affecting the team. So that's a great nickname. Heat. It affects you. Okay? Like, Knicks is so stupid. It's worse than Pelicans. Like, what the hell are y'all doing?
We got two.
What the fuck is a brown? A brown is a turd that you flush down. That's a brown. That was easy, actually. A nick.
The Knickers. I would love that. The New York Knickers. The New York Knickers.
Also, I love how the Knicks, like, I do have that. There's a little bit of not love, but like a little bit of understanding. Like, they haven't been good forever. So these people lose their damn minds, Doug. When they win like one playoff game, it's like they won the Super Bowl and shit. But I remember I'm always reminded that Knicks fans are like Jet fans, and they're both going. The Jet fans are about to fall on their face with Aaron Rodgers. And it's going to be fun.
That's going to be terrible. It's going to be great.
Oh, it's going to be great because they think that now they're in the Super Bowl because all they needed was a quarterback. And like usually that's a red herring. Usually when you say all you need is a quarterback, you get a quarterback. Then you find out what you really need. And I think that's where we're going to go with.
Yeah, but this might be a thing that was actually true because the Jets were good and they had Zach Wilson, who might be one of the worst quarterbacks I've ever seen.
Right. But again, now they have a quarterback, and we're going to find out what's really wrong with the team.
No, the problem is Aaron Rodgers hasn't been good in 2 years. So
he was all right last year. I'm just saying. Look, now they have a quarterback. We're about to really find out what the problem is. That's all I got. And it's not going to be quarterback this year. It's going to be something else. But it's the Jets. They got to understand that it's the Jets. Same with the Browns. We always do. We were like, oh, we need a quarterback. We need a quarterback, and he's a rapist. So I'm allegedly. So there's always an issue, and there's always going to be a problem. But yeah. On that note, Doug, I think next week, someone that we know really well here. Let me friend of the show, friend of everybody. I'm pretty sure. I want to make sure. Yes. One of my favorite guests. Doug, do you know who it is? Don't look. Sneakerhead. Don't look. Sneakerhead.
If you said Sneakerhead, it's Art Eddie. That's the only person that could.
Yes. It's Art Eddie making an appearance. Last year, we didn't have Art at all last year, because we had a scheduling snafu.
Yeah, but we also I think we had him for our Christmas show where we had the thing. I think he jumped on there, but I could be wrong.
we didn't have Art as a full guest last year. We just did
That's
it.
true.
My statement still stands.
I got shoe questions for him. So yeah, it'll be great.
Shoe questions, Star Wars questions. Let's see what he's up to. He's the best dad podcaster out there. That's my opinion. He interviews everyone and anyone. His list is he gets a murderer's row. I'm just waiting for Obama. He's working up to that, but he's going to eventually get Obama.
Man, oh my God.
He's eventually going to get him. He's going to. Like, the progression is there. It's going. Like, he's gotten almost everybody. So I told him that that's my thing. He said he's working on it. So
yeah, I will tell you, he interviewed Dominique Wilkins, which might be my fucking favorite person he's ever. Oh my God, that was one of my favorite players. Who, by the way, and Jeff Tepper, to his credit, every year posts. This is your yearly reminder that Dominique Wilkins got robbed in the dunk contest against Jordan. Yes, because Dominique Wilkins beat the shit out of him in a dunk contest, and Jordan did a dunk from a foul line, and that was how he won. And he shouldn't have. Dominique had much better dunks that year, and Dominique had one of the best single duels in playoff history, where him and Larry Bird had a third and fourth quarter duel where it was like just basically two guys going at each other. It was amazing. I still remember that game. It was awesome.
Is Dominique a Hall of Famer?
I don't think he is. I think he's in the Hall of Fame.
Okay, he needs to be. Okay, cool. He needs to be. All right, Doug. Was Wilkins wearing Jordan 3 white cements?
No, I'm pretty sure that Dominique was a Reebok guy, if I remember right.
Kyle, next week is Art Eddie. Please show up because I know you're a sneakerhead. We had a moment in Milwaukee last week where Kyle met some friends because of sneakers. So the sneaker world is a thing. And it's just crazy how it's going. I don't know if you saw too, Kyle, that Adidas says they're going to sell all the old Yeezy sneakers that they have stockpiled up, which again is going to create bedlam online because these sneakers, especially, I guess we don't know the future of Yeezy sneakers. Again, not a fan of Kanye. I'm just more. It's just fascinating the sneaker game, Doug, where it's all been. I remember getting Nike pumps and thinking that shit was cool, and it was. But now sneakers are just out. Daniel, fucking Daniel, love it. That's great. All right, Doug. It was nice to return. Great guest. Thanks for booking her.
Yep.
We got Art Eddie next week. That'll be fun as hell. Bunch of things to talk about. You have a great. I hear tomorrow you're going to a graduation, and then obviously Sunday you and Jill will be doing something cool, hopefully for Mother's Day, or maybe not. But
no, Jill thinks about that the same way I think about Father's Day. I'm a dad all the time. I'm not a dad on that day, and some people that's an important day for them, and kudos to them. It's just not something Jill and I do.
Well, that's cool. Same here, but at the same time, I had this conversation right before I got on stream with the lady about, like, no matter what, I just want her to do what she wants to do. So if she wants to say everybody, like what I do on my Father's Day is that I say I ain't doing nothing. I just want dinner to be good. Other than that, I don't want to do shit. I don't want y'all doing shit because of me. So if y'all just want to play video games all day, y'all and your mother want to go shopping, I really don't care what you do. I just don't want to be bugging y'all during this day. Actually, I got enough time bugging y'all to do schoolwork and housework and all that shit. 365 days. I ain't doing it that day. That's the only. I just want a day off of being a father, if that makes sense. I know it's weird, but like I just don't want to be like telling y'all what to do. And I mean, again, it's my job. I'm a father. I like doing it, but like not on Father's Day.
Agreed.
Yeah, agreed. So tell Joe I said I love her and happy Mother's Day. And Doug and I want to say happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. And yeah, you're welcome, JHG. I'm not sure how entertaining it was, but it was. So on that note, Doug, I'm gonna hit the I want to hit this a bit.
You recording? Yeah.
Who's that kid? I want him to do our music.
Yeah, like,
I want
hey,
that
your
as our
intro.
music. Right. Who is this kid? I want to get a hold of him. But that dude's jamming. That's great. All right.
Yep.
We'll see y'all next week. Y'all have a good weekend.
Cheers.